Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Juan, and today is going to be day 5 of the challenge where I'm doing something hard every single day for an entire 365 days. In today's episode, we're going to be trying to do a wall sit until I absolutely cannot hold myself up anymore. The goal of this challenge is to basically push my mind past its currently known limits just to see how far I can really go before my body just says no. The goal of this video is to promote the idea that your mind is much more powerful than you think it is. During this wall sit, I want my mental to take over my physical feelings because, as you guys know, during times that we have adrenaline rushes, people can become so strong to the point where you could lift up a car, and I want to see how far my mental can take me even though my body might be telling me otherwise. And just to ensure that I'm not cheating, I'm not going to do a single cut throughout the process. I'm going to have a timer that's going straight, and it's going to be a bunch of raw footage just to see how mentally challenging this is, because I'm going to be in a room all by myself, without music, without any distractions, just me alone with my thoughts. But before we get into it, you guys already know the drill. I'm a very blunt type of speaker. Therefore, if I say anything that might sound offensive or harmful, please let me know, because that's the last thing I want to do. Oh shit. Okay, y'all. We're hooked up to the microphone right now. I hope it sounds clear because this room is empty, so there's a lot of echoing going on, but we're gonna get some quick stretches in real quick in my legs just to make sure I don't pull a muscle. Yeah, man, I'm low-key nervous for this one, but it's okay. It's only one day, and we're gonna push ourselves to do hard things. So real quick, we're just gonna do some stretches real quick with my quads, my hamstrings, basically just anywhere that's gonna be targeted during this exercise, just because I really don't wanna pull anything, especially the hips. The hips are very important to stretch and keep intact. We're ready. We're just gonna go straight into it. I'm gonna have a timer that's gonna pop up on the screen, probably like somewhere in one of the corners. I looked it up. It says that the quote unquote average is like about 50 to 70 seconds, and then excellent is like above 100. We're gonna try going for 100. That's gonna be my minimal. Yeah, I'm not gonna count. We're just gonna go for as long as I can go. All right, bro. Let's just get straight to it. Hopefully I do the wall sit right. I've done it before. Let's have fun. Okay. I'm gonna try not to talk as much just because I do want to lock in for this. I don't want to have to exert my energy through talking, so let's just go. We're raw dogging this shit. I may or may not do like certain edits. I don't know. So far I'm pretty comfortable. I mean, the only thing that's really hurting are my quads. So I'm gonna try not to think about it too much. Pretty sure you guys can see I'm already shaking around my knee area. Lower back starting to hurt. I'm not sure if that's from when I was trying to do a handstand, but my legs are already killing me. I'm literally fucking shaking. But we're just gonna push ourselves past that failure mark. I might not be able to walk after this. Bro, my body's like sliding. Nope. Oh, I'm in pain. But okay, so as you've heard before, I'm struggling. When you hit failure, that's when the real reps start. Holy shit. I'm going until I literally can't stand. Oh, my legs are on fire. Oh my gosh. I'm falling. Yo, I'm falling. Oh. Holy shit. What the fuck? Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, that really fucking hurt, bro. I was trying my best to stay up, but my legs literally just kept sliding and I just kept falling. Oh. Okay. Pretty sure I went for more than 100 seconds. I'm pretty sure it was between 100 and maybe like 150, I hope. Damn, yeah, that fucking hurt. My quads are on fucking fire right now. I can barely feel them. Alright, yo. Now we're back in present time. I recorded the actual challenge before I did the intro and this part right here. But after review of the footage, as you guys saw, I went for 3 minutes and 4 seconds, which equates to 184 seconds, which is almost double the amount that we were going for. So yeah, I'm very happy with what I did. That challenge was extremely hard, and if you thought that it's easy, go ahead and try it yourself. I thought it was easy too, but it was actually burning about 1 minute and 30 seconds in. Just being in pure silence like that in a guest room that basically has nothing in it besides a mattress, it was very challenging because it was only me, my thoughts, and the pain of my quads and my glutes as they were holding on for dear life. And, well, as someone who hasn't done a wall sit since 6th grade when I was 11 or 12, and now I'm currently 19, I'd say doing almost double what is considered excellent on Google is pretty good for someone who hasn't done it in 7 years. But I didn't do this challenge for no reason. I didn't just come up with it. It was actually inspired by a book that I read by David Goggins called Can't Hurt Me, and I wanted to share a little bit about the part of the book that inspired me to do this. Basically, when David Goggins was in SEAL training, he had to undergo this drill where he would be stuck underwater and he would have to tie multiple knots before being able to go back up for air. And not only that, he had to do it within a certain amount of time as well, or else he would have failed and went back home. And as some of you guys may know, when you're in the military, basically any branch, but more like the Marines, the Navy, the branches that are considered more elite, I guess, the instructors and the drill sergeants will try their best to break you down because they want to see how capable you really are. And adding on to that, but during that drill, David Goggins had already suffered a leg injury in either his left or right leg, I forgot, but he was going through an injury while an instructor was trying to break him down, while he also had a fear of water too at the time. So he had to do all of that simultaneously without breaking down. So while this guy was injured, exhausted, and low on oxygen while trying to tie a bunch of knots underwater, with the guy who's screaming at him trying to break him down in one of the toughest stages that anyone could ever be put into, Goggins eventually reached the point where he was panicking and about to black out. However, in that moment, he described that his mental suddenly flipped during that process. He talked about his past life and how he was honestly just a bum for a really long time. And he said, rather than viewing himself as a victim of pain, fear, and past trauma, he reframed his entire life as training. Every hardship that he went through in his life, whether it was him being racially targeted as a kid, whether he was bullied, abused, he viewed himself as a failure, those hardships have been actually callousing his mind or toughening his mind the same way in which lifting weights toughens your hands. He talked about how in that moment he realized that suffering doesn't necessarily weaken you by default. Suffering can actually be viewed as something resentful or something strengthening. And this was a pretty badass moment, but when he had that mental shift, he found himself in a state of relaxation. And he even said he felt weird during that because he'd never felt that way before. He was literally on the verge of blacking out and he was straight up panicking. And then he somehow hopped over that huge obstacle and found himself in a state of calmness. He ended up finishing the drill calmly while the instructor who was trying to break him actually ran out of breath first. And what I'm telling you right now from his book can be interpreted in many type of ways. The message that Goggins was trying to portray was the fact that your mind will quit long before your body has to. When you push past the limit that your brain automatically sets for you, most of the time, you actually come to find out that you had a lot left in the tank than you actually believed. So not only did David Goggins experience a physical win, that experience alone was enough evidence to determine the fact that perspective alone is enough to override pain, fear, and perceived limits. And during that process of me doing a wall sit, I didn't necessarily switch my perspective. The only thing I was really telling myself was, you have so much more left in you. And I did. If I'm being honest, once I hit the 1 minute and 30 second mark, My legs were already shaking a little bit, and you guys could visibly see it too. When I hit 2 minutes, I thought I was done. I was already thinking, nope, I'm done. And in that moment, I deliberately tried to calm myself down just to see how much longer I could go for. And I ended up going for another minute and 4 seconds, which I think is pretty damn good. And the message that I'm trying to get at is, I'm trying to let y'all know that during any type of physical or mental or any type of activity that you're undergoing in life, just try going for a little bit longer. Try putting in just a little bit more effort, because not only are you finding out a fraction of how powerful you really are, as I said in the last video, you're also setting a new standard for what your mind limits you to do. And over time, you just have to keep showing up consistently, tax your body and mental a little bit past failure. You will genuinely become unstoppable. But other than that, I appreciate y'all watching the video. Y'all stay blessed and have a good one.